It is January 26, 2026. On Launch Pad 39B, the Artemis II rocket is currently venting propellant. In 11 days, the window opens. 4 astronauts will climb into that capsule to circle the moon. The media is calling it the return of exploration. They are calling it a triumph of the human spirit. They are lying. We are not going back to the moon to play golf. We are not going back for science. We are going back to stake claims. Look past the press releases. Look at the maps. The moon is no longer a global commons. It is the new South China Sea. The rockets are civilian, but the mission is imperial. The race for the high ground has begun. For 60 years, space was governed by a single piece of paper. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty. It stated explicitly that no nation could own the moon. No flags, no borders, no sovereignty. That treaty is dead. And it was the United States that killed it. Enter the Artemis Accords. On the surface, it sounds like a set of rules for peaceful cooperation. But look at the fine print. The Accords establish safety zones. The logic is simple. The US claims it needs a buffer zone around its landing sites and mining equipment to prevent harmful interference. If I land in a crater and I declare a 10-kilometer safety zone around me that you cannot enter, what have I just done? I have annexed territory. It is a legal loophole the size of a planet. This is 19th century colonial law, applied to the stars. We are drawing borders on a map that hasn't even been printed yet. And if you are not part of the Accords, you are a trespasser. But the United States is not the only one drawing maps. China has refused to sign the Artemis Accords. They have a different plan. It is called the ILRS, the International Lunar Research Station. While Artemis is designed as a series of camping trips, the ILRS is designed as a fortress. Phase 2, construction, officially begins this year. Beijing understands the geography better than Washington. They are targeting the exact same real estate, the Shackleton crater at the South Pole. Why? Because that is where the water is. And on the moon, water is not just for drinking. If you split water into hydrogen and oxygen, you have rocket fuel. If China secures the South Pole first, they don't just own a crater. They own the gas station for the rest of the solar system. Artemis is about exploration. The ILRS is about logistics. However, the most dangerous territory is not on the surface. It is in the void. He who controls the orbit controls the ground. But even in the vacuum of space, geography still exists. We are not just fighting for the moon. We are fighting for the Lagrange points. Specifically, L1 and L2. These are the gravitational parking spots of the solar system. Points where the gravity of the Earth and Moon cancel each other out. If you place a satellite there, it stays there. Forever. With zero fuel, it is the ultimate high ground. If you control L1, you have an uninterrupted view of the entire lunar surface and the Earth simultaneously. It is the sniper's nest. It is the Hill 100 of Cis-Lunar space. And from that hill, the threat changes. We are no longer talking about nuclear weapons. We are talking about rods from God. Kinetic bombardment. A satellite drops a telephone pole-sized rod of tungsten. Gravity does the rest. It hits the surface at Mach 10. It delivers the force of a tactical nuclear weapon with zero radiation. The US Space Force and China's Strategic Support Force are currently racing to deploy resilient architectures to these specific coordinates. They are scrambling to put their guns on the hill before the other side gets there. And so, the verdict is rendered. For thousands of years, humans looked up at the moon and saw a god. Then, we saw a destination. Now, we see a target. The romantic era of space exploration is over. The flags planted by Artemis and the ILRS will not be symbols of peace. They will be keep out signs. We are leaving the cradle of Earth, not to unite humanity, but to export our conflicts to the stars. The sky is no longer the limit, it is the front line. This is the grand brief, and this is the sense we make of the chaos.